Welcome everybody to Sig's Garage. 2019 Chevrolet Tahoe, and so the car came to me with a dead battery and a bad transmission. And the first thing I had to do, which I'm not going to show, but I had to put a battery in it because the battery had been sitting in it for like 4 months and it was completely dead. So got the battery in it, got it started, and actually was able to drive it up to my garage. And from there, yes, the transmission was making a very noticeable whining noise, but it would move under its own power. So got it up on the lift, and first thing I started doing was just shooting down all the bolts, exhaust nuts, studs with blaster to prepare to remove, the exhaust system, the cross member, and get, then get the transfer case off. So that's what I did first. Got everything wet down with blaster, and then we started let sit for a while. Disconnected the O2 sensors, and just in preparation to remove the exhaust system and get it out of the way. The Y pipe all the way back to a coupling, which it was very rusted as well. So next thing was just start trying to get all these nuts off, the exhaust manifold, to take the Y pipe off. Put markings on the shaft, the front shaft and the back shaft, so we keep the balance the way it was, and get those out of the way. So a lot of things that have to come off before you yank this transmission out. But it took our time getting everything off, and it had never been apart before. But the true failure was, which is typical with these transmissions, the 6L80E, was the thermal. Well, in this case, the thermostat for the transmission. Pretty sure it's stuck closed, and it got extremely hot, cooked the torque converter, and it spewed a lot of metal into that transmission, clutch material, metal, and when the pan was dropped just for draining, because to ship the core back you have to drain it. So drained the transfer case, and the transfer case magnet had a very large amount of metal on it. I think I'm showing that right now, and more than normal. You typically will see some fuzz, but this had like porcupine metal sticking out of it. So ultimately I did a fill, flush, and then drained again before I gave it back to the customer. So but I want to get that drained out and get any weight out of it. And I don't think it ever been drained before. So at this point, it's just starting to take the bolts off, the nuts off the exhaust manifold. In our case, I think 2 or 3 of the 6, the studs came out of the manifold. We had to soak those and put the studs back in, but that was no big deal. Everything nothing stripped, everything came out. So we're just busy disassembling, getting the shafts off, and I'll get back with you as we progress. We dropped the sway bar down, just took the mounts off the frame. Didn't remove it completely, but just to get it dropped down, because it's really tight trying to get the Y pipe off, and it was very helpful in the removal and the assembly of putting it back together, just to leave it hanging down and movable to get the Y pipe off. So I just wanted to add that in. very, very full of metal. Somebody had been in the pan before, and the first thing I noticed when I got in there is they didn't even put the magnet back in it. So, but it was just, it was full of glitter. Definitely failed. At this point right here, we're getting ready to drop the transfer case, remove it from the back of the transmission. So a couple of things I want to mention. There are, I think it was a total of 3 electrical connections to the transfer case. They have to come off, and 1 bracket has to come off. And that's really all as far as the connections to it. And then it has studs. I think it was a total of 6 or 7 studs. I can't remember for sure, but they have nuts on them. The ones at the top, you will need a stubby wrench. It's a little tight at the top. We did drop it down some to get to them, make it easier. But if you have a flex head stubby, that even helps more. Really hard to get a ratchet up in there. They weren't super tight, so once you get them started, they spin off pretty easy. So just wanted to cover that as far as the transfer case. And on the transmission, you have the mechatronic connection to going to the solenoids and to the TCM, the transmission control module. That plug comes off the rear, and of course your shift cable comes off, and then there's brackets on the top of the transmission for the fuel line. You got to remove that as well. So anyway, I just wanted to cover that, the things we disconnected. The bracket also for the dipstick tube, that's got to be loosened, because as you drop it down, you got to pull the dipstick out of the transmission, and it's a long end that goes into the transmission, so you kind of have to work it. You don't pull the tube completely off, it just kind of pulls out with a grommet or a seal on it, and then you can work it out as the transmission comes out. And the same way going back in, make sure you put the dipstick in the hole before you go all the way into the transmission, or you will not be able to get it in. So just wanted to cover that as we move forward. Okay, working here in Sig's garage on a 19 Tahoe. I want to give you a quick recap of what's going on. So we're doing a transmission R&R, remove and replace. Got a new rebuilt one or remanufactured one to put in. So where we are up to this time, we have exhaust system has been removed, sitting back there. The cross member here had to be removed to get that out. We put it back up for support. The transfer case has been removed. So we got this thing in both shafts, the front shaft, and obviously the aft shaft, the rear drive shaft is removed. So that's where we are now, and it's just a matter of starting doing some of the disconnects on the transmission, and we'll be ready to break this thing loose from the block and pull it out. So that's where we are. We'll continue on with this thing probably next day or so.
And to be continued.